Welcome back, deck brewers, welcome back, kitchen table wizards. Today it's tribal time and I've brewed for you a deck that combines two different styles of deck. Something that has never done before in the history of the internet. So we start in the right corner, weighing about 500 pounds, the Troll deck. And in the left corner, weighing a lot more, the Voltron deck. And if we combine those two, we'll have a Voltron deck. So, most of you people know what a troll is. Camille, in the edit, give me a nice picture here of a troll. No, not that kind of troll. Give a new one.
Here.
No, still way too Disney, way too nice. Another one. That's already a little bit better, but make it more angry, more vile. Yes. This is the troll I wanted to talk about. This is the troll I want to include in my deck. So trolls are those big creatures that live in the forest and in the hillside, and they're quite smelly, have a problem with hygiene. They're tough to get rid of because of their thick skin and they regenerate, and they're even resistant to magic from time to time. And then there's the Voltron, the legendary defender. You might know the cartoon series. It's also a style in Commander in EDH where you try to make a very strong creature by putting equipments on it, enchantments, to really kill your opponent with one strong creature. Now, my favorite troll in Magic is an older card from the Mirrodin block, and I think it stood the test of time. It's still a strong card and it's called the Troll Ascetic. Now recently its bigger brother has been reprinted in the mystery boosters, and I am very happy about that, because now the card is affordable for casual Magic. Did I just tell you I'm really happy about this? Here it is. Thrun the Last Troll has been reprinted in the mystery booster. I scooped it up for under $1 on Magic Card Market. So really happy that finally my troll deck is complete. So talking about the nice people of Card Market, they are still so kind to give us €10 vouchers for each deck tag. And the only thing you have to do is subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below which deck you want to see next time. We can maybe put a poll up there so you can vote in the poll, and we can choose which deck to brew in one of the next deck tags based on the results of the poll. Do stick around till the end of the video if you want to find out who won the €10 voucher this time. So I'm going to stop trolling you with the intro. Let's head into the deck. The deck is about €30 and you can find the deck list in the description below. So as always, we start with the flavor of the deck, the style of the deck, the choice of the basic lands. And we play 11 forests and 8 swamps. And for the art this time I have chosen this mystical forest and this mystical swamp from Mark Pool. Awesome drawings, both of them. I really love them.
Wow.
Next, I included 4 Woodland Cemeteries, and during the recording of the video, this card was still relatively cheap, so I think it's a good investment if you want to pick it up for around €1 or €2. And of course, straight out of Resident Evil, I also included a Witch's Cottage, because we're playing a troll deck and there's mostly a witch in the neighborhood. Now let's look which trolls we are going to play. First up is the Odious Troll. Honestly, I just wanted to include it for the art. And Mr. Odious Troll, also if you want to avoid an eye infection, just stay off the rats, please. It will help. The next guy is an aggressive guy. He's also an aspiring zombie actor that didn't make the cut at the auditions for The Walking Dead, so he ended up in Magic. A very aggressive creature, 2-drop for 2 mana. You get a trampled creature that regenerates for 1 black, and if you discard a creature card, you can put a +1/+1 counter on the troll. So I play 3 of those failed zombie actors. Next up, I play another aggressive troll for 2 mana. It's called the Barkhide Troll. It comes into play with a +1/+1 counter on it, and when you remove this counter, you can protect it from spells and give it hexproof. Then we move to the real troll, one of my favorite cards, as I told you before, the best Voltron card in the deck for 3 mana. It is Mr. the Mask. The Troll Ascetic. For 3 mana you get a 3/2 with hexproof, and it can also regenerate. And the king of the Troll Ascetics is called Thrun the Last Troll. Difficult to pronounce, but nonetheless a good card. It can't be countered. You can't target it with spells or abilities, so hexproof, and you can also regenerate it like the Troll Ascetic. But this time you'll get a 4/4 for 4 mana. So this is an awesome creature, certainly the best creature in the deck. There are a few more legendary trolls in the 3-drop slot. Grismold the Dreadsower is a 3/3 with trample, and at the beginning of your end step each player creates a plant token, and when a creature token dies, you can put a +1/+1 counter on Grismold. And apparently Grismold also exists in an old TV movie. Camille, can you give me some proof about this? There we go. Thank you. Next up, Grismold's brother Varolz the Scared-Striped, a 2/2 for 3 mana, and every card in your graveyard has Scavenge, and that means you can exile it and then put an equal amount of counters on target creature that is equal to the exiled card's power. You can also sacrifice another creature to regenerate Varolz the Scared-Striped. Another typical troll from the forest is the Cudgel Troll, a 4/3 for 4 mana with regenerate. And if you don't know about regenerate, it's one of the oldest keyword abilities in Magic. Most of the time you pay a green, but sometimes also a black mana, and then the next time this creature would be destroyed, instead it isn't, but you tap it and you remove all damage from it. You also remove it from combat. And this will be very handy with a little combo I'm going to talk about later in the game. This guy looks like one of the turtles. If you want to see a turtle deck, you can check out my last video. I'll put the link here. Here we go. Now, Michelangelo over here is pretty good in the deck. It's a 6/5 for 5 mana, so I already like the stats. And each creature you control with power 4 or greater can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And yes, I've put in another combo in the deck for this card as well. 2 more huge trolls that doesn't cost a lot of mana and have a small downside are the Hunted Troll. When it enters the battlefield, your opponent gets a lot of fairy tokens, and it's an 8/4 for 4 mana with regenerate. And then we have the Clackbridge Troll, an 8/8 for 5 mana with trample and haste. And when it enters the battlefield, your opponent gets a bunch of goats. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. It will probably be a goat. And if the player does, you tap the Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life, and you draw a card. Which isn't the end of the world either. So I like the card. So we're playing a troll deck, we need a troll king, and I've included 2 of them. This guy is a 7/6 with vigilance and trample. He's always hungry, but it's not a bad thing because he creates food tokens and they return the feasting troll king to the battlefield. Okay, these were all the trolls, and now we're going to include some gear to make them Voltron. Let's start with the Basilisk color.
Oh, it's a cute puppy.
Camille, it has dead touch. How can it be a cute puppy?
Yes, but he has lifelink.
Interns, they always have to have the last word.
Last word.
So the Basilisk color was also a rather expensive card, but it just got reprinted, so you could also scoop it up for $1 or $2 at the moment. I definitely think you need to buy this card. Death Touch and Lifelink are very strong abilities, and if you put this on a regenerating troll with hexproof, it's an awesome creature and it will be very difficult for your opponent to deal with. The Chitinous Cloak is a card from Oath of the Gatewatch, which I actually never played before, but your creature gets +2/+2 and has Menace. And this is interesting with the Challenger Troll, because if the Challenger Troll is out there, then your creature with the Chitinous Cloak can't be blocked. Next up, we play a big hammer. This time it's not an elephant that will be wielding the hammer, but it will be one of our trolls. 3 mana gives us a Loxodon Warhammer, which gives our creatures +3/+0 and trample and lifelink. Great card as well for my Voltrolls. So these were the 3 equipments I will be playing for my Voltrolls. I've put in a few other flavorful cards that you can find in the forests where the trolls are hanging around. First, I've included a Bow of Nylea. Now, you can say those trolls, they won't be handy with a bow. I agree, but it is good to give all your attacking creatures Death Touch. You can also put +1/+1 counters on target creature, which is good with the Barkhide Troll. Or you can have the Bow of Nylea deal damage to flying creatures. Or you can gain a bunch of life with it. Or there's even a 4th ability. You can put 4 target cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library in any order. So a very flexible card, the Bow of Nylea. Another great card in my deck is the Colossal Majesty. It's an enchantment for 3 mana, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card. And most of our big trolls are power 4 or greater. Next up, I decided to play a Great Henge, and I know what you're going to say, Bram, are you doing budget decks? This card alone will be half the price of your deck. I agree, you can also swap it with another troll. There are plenty more trolls in the maybe board, but just for the flavor I needed to put it in. This legendary artifact is perfect for my troll deck if you ask me. It costs 9 mana, but it gets cheaper because this spell costs X less, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So if you have one of those big trolls out, it only costs 2 mana, and then you can tap it for 2 mana and you gain 2 life, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. So a very strong mythic artifact that just for flavor alone I needed to put in the deck. The last card of my card drawing support cards is the Rishkar's Expertise. It's a sorcery for 6 mana and you draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control, and you may cast a card with converted mana cost 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So most of the time in our deck you will be drawing a bunch of cards and probably also be playing a free troll. Getting a bunch of forests into your hand is always a good thing because our trolls are pretty mana intensive, so I play also one Nissa's Pilgrimage. To start with the removal cards, I decided to include 2 Putrefy, just also for flavor, but it's also a good card that can destroy a creature or artifact. And if you're playing against opposing trolls, they can't be regenerated. Talking about regeneration, Pernicious Deed is an enchantment, and if you sacrifice it, destroy each artifact, creature and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less. You probably noticed that it says destroy, so if you use it, you can still regenerate your trolls so they survive the pernicious deed. And already the third combo in the deck is the Witch's Vengeance. It works great with the Clackbridge Troll and the Hunted Troll because you can swoop up all the counters that you give to your opponent, and even with Grismold it's a nice combo. So the Witch's Vengeance is a good card in this deck and I decided to put in 2 copies of it. So these were all the troll cards. Let's look at the power rankings of this deck. In terms of power, I gave the deck a 7. It's not too complex, so if you're not an advanced player, you can still try out this deck. It is very consistent and you can play it as well offensively and defensively. And maybe it's even better on the defense because with the hexproof and the regeneration, your opponents are very hard to get rid of. I think personally it's a fun deck to play. And it's definitely good value for money. Pick up Thrun the Last Troll while it is still cheap. Then let's have a look to see how the deck is doing against other decks. So the deck does equally well against aggressive, mid-range and control decks. Only against combo decks it lacks a little bit of removal, so make sure to destroy your opponent before he combos off. So we're almost done. Let's head into the maybe board and find out which other trolls we can put in our deck. So this guy looks a little bit like Slimer from the Ghostbusters. It's called the Mossbridge Troll. It costs 7 mana and for that you get a 5/5 that when it is destroyed you always regenerate it, and you can tap any number of untapped creatures you control other than the Mossbridge Troll with power 10 or greater, and then it will get +20/+20 until end of turn. Make sure to give it a Loxodon Warhammer so it also has trample to finish off your opponent with 1 attack.
Fatality.
Some other trolls I found in the library of Scryfall are the Trollbred Guardian. It's a troll frog warrior, and there's also a troll mutant called the Sporeback Troll. 2 great cards for tribal decks are of course the Icon of Ancestry and the Vanquisher's Banner, although I don't see a lot of trolls going to church or holding a flag, to be honest. You can also include a Door of Destiny or a coat of arms in your deck to make your trolls stronger. So this was the deck. One more announcement: who won our €10 card market voucher? Camille, give me a drum roll please. The winner of this week is Carol Jeska. So this was our deck for this week. Next week we are going to talk about cycling, especially for you Magisto. You've asked me to brew a cycling deck. Well, next week you'll get a cycling deck. And as always, keep it casual, stay safe, and see you next week. Bye!